Are you sure you won't come in for a drink? Just one for the road?
No.
Right, well, we'll get together before I leave on Monday. How about Sunday? My wife makes a margarita that will make your hair stand on end. I really want you to know how much I appreciate it.
No.
Okay, fine. I'll see you Sunday. Paulina? Paulina? What are you doing there like that?
Who was that?
I'm sorry I'm late home.
Who was it?
It's nothing, it was the car. There was a flat tyre. Luckily a man stopped. What are you doing in the dark? I can't see a thing. I'm sorry I'm late home. It must have got cold.
It's fine, we can eat step. As long as we have something to celebrate. You do have something to celebrate, don't you?
That depends on you. Do you know what this is? This is the son of a bitch that gave me a flat. And do you know what any normal man does when he gets a flat? He goes to the trunk and he gets out the spare. If the spare isn't flat as well, that is. If his wife had remembered to fix the spare.
His wife? Always got to be his wife. You were supposed to.
I'm really not in the mood for an argument, but we had agreed you would be the one to fix the spare.
I'll take care of the house.
You don't want any help with it afterwards. Afterwards you complain.
I never complain.
This is an absurd discussion. What are we fighting about?
We're not fighting. You accuse me of not fixing your spare.
My spare?
And I explained why.
No, hold it right there. Let's clear this up here and now. That you didn't fix the spare, our spare, that's open to discussion. But there is another small matter, the jack.
What jack?
Right, what jack? What did you do with the jack to jack the car up?
Need a jack to hold up the car.
Right. What the hell did you do with the jack?
I gave it to my mother.
To your mother? You lent it to your mother?
Loaned it, yes.
And may I ask why?
Because she needed it.
While I, of course, you and I...
Well, Mother was driving down south and really needed it, whereas you...
Whereas I can just go fuck myself. Yes, I get a telegram. I have to leave for the city to see the president in what is perhaps the most important meeting of my career, and this son of a bitch Nail is lying in wait for me. Fortunately, not on the way there. And there I was, without a spare and without a jack on the goddamn road.
Well, I knew you'd find someone to help you out. Was she pretty at least? Sexy?
I already said it was a man.
You said nothing of the sort.
Why do you always have to suppose there's a woman involved?
Indeed, I just can't imagine why. Nice? The man you?
Great guy. Lucky for me, he didn't want anything.
See? I just don't know how you do it. You always manage to fix things up so that everything works out just fine for you. Whereas Mother, if she'd had a flat, then some weirdo would have stopped. You know how she attracts a crazy
You have no idea how
people.
ecstatic it makes me to think of your mother exploring the south with my jack. Free from all worries. Well, I had to stand there for hours.
Oh, no exaggerating now.
45 minutes, exactly 45. The cars passed me by as if it didn't exist. Do you know what I began doing? I began waving my arms around like some sort of... We've forgotten what solidarity is in this country. Fortunately for me, this man, this Roberto Miranda, I've invited him over for a drink on Sunday.
I heard you. Sunday's fine.
I've got to be back on Monday, you see, and I thought you might like to come with me, shorten these holidays.
So the president named you then?
He named me.
The peak of your career?
I'd hardly call it the peak. I am, after all, the youngest of those he's named, right?
Right. When they name you Minister of Justice in a few years, that'll be the peak, huh?
Well, that certainly doesn't depend on me.
Did you tell him that?
Who?
Your good Samaritan.
Roberto Miranda, I hardly know the man. Besides, I haven't decided yet.
You've decided.
I told him I'd answer tomorrow that I was very grateful. To the
You said
president,
that to
I
the
needed
president?
more time.
I don't know what you've got to wait for. You've made your decision, you know you have Gerardo, it's what you've been working
But
for all these
first,
years.
you need to say yes.
Well then yes.
That's not the yes I need.
Well, it's the only yes I've got.
I've heard others. If I were to accept, I need to know I can count on you. That you don't feel... If you were to have a relapse, it might leave me...
Vulnerable. It might leave you vulnerable, stripped. You'd have to take care of me all over again.
That's unfair. Are you criticising me because I take care of you?
And that's what you told the president, your wife might have said.
He doesn't know, nobody knows, not even your mother knows. I'm not talking about those kinds of people. I'm talking about the fact that we never made it public, that we never denounced the things they did.
Only if the result was death, huh?
Paulina, I'm sorry, what do you want me to say?
This commission you're named to only investigates crimes that ended in death.
It's appointed to investigate human rights violations that ended in death, or the presumption of death, yes.
Only the most serious cases.
The idea is that if we can throw light on some of the worst abuses, then
Right.
other crimes will also come into the light.
Only the most serious.
Let's say crimes that are, let's say, irreparable.
Beyond repair. Irreparable hurt.
Paulina, I don't like to talk
Well,
about
I
this.
don't like to talk about it either.
Well, we're going to have to talk about it, aren't we, you and I? If I'm to spend the next few months listening to the evidence, to eyewitnesses and survivors, and every time I come home... You wouldn't want me to deal with that on my own. If you knew how much I love you. If you knew how much it still pains me.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Is that the yes you wanted?
That's the yes I want.
To find out everything.
Everything we can. We'll go as far as we're...
Allowed?
Limited. Let's say we're limited. But there's so much we can do. We'll publish our conclusions. There'll be an official report. What happened will be established objectively, so no one will ever be able to deny it.
And then? You hear the relatives of the victims. You denounce the crimes. What happens to the criminals?
Well, that depends on the judges. A copy of the evidence is sent to the courts and the judges proceed from there.
The judges. The same judges who never intervened to save a single life in 17 years of dictatorship. Who never accepted a single habeas corpus. Judge Broughton told that poor woman who came looking for her missing husband that he'd probably gone tired of her and gone off with somebody else.
No, he didn't.
What did you call him, a judge? A judge?
Yes, Paulina, that's enough. Silly girl. And what would have happened if you'd had that flat today? You out there alone with the cars passing by, nobody there to help. Did you think what could have happened?
Somebody would have stopped. Probably that same Miranda.
Probably. Not everyone's a son of a bitch.
No, not everybody.
I invited him over for a drink on Sunday.
Sunday's fine. Gerard, I was scared when I saw the car and it wasn't yours, it was just...
There was no danger.
No. Gerard, you told the president you'd accept it, didn't you? Gerard, I need the truth. You're going to start your work on the commission with a lie.
I didn't want to hurt you.
You told the president you'd accept it, didn't you? Before asking me. I need the truth.
Yes, I told him, yes. Before asking you. Nothing. Yes, all right, I'll be serious. All right, I'm coming. My God, it's you.
I'm so sorry.
You scared the shit out of me.
I'm so sorry for this intrusion. I thought you'd still be up celebrating.
Please come in.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. We're still not used to it. You see,
Used to it?
to democracy that someone knocks on your door at midnight and it's a friend and not
Not one of those bastards.
quite. And my wife, she's been a bit nervous, so you'll have to excuse her if we just keep our voices down.
Of course. I'm so sorry. It's my fault.
Please sit down.
I just thought I'd stop by for this short visit. Well, you must be asking yourself why this sudden visit. Well, I was listening to the radio in my car on the way back to my beach house and...
I'm so sorry. Would you like a drink?
Oh, no.
On Sunday you can have one of my wife's famous margaritas, but I do possess a bottle of cognac I got from the duty free.
Just a small bit there. Well, I was listening to the radio in my car and all of a sudden it hit me. I heard your name on the news. The list of the names the president's chosen for his commission, they say Gerardo Escobar, and I thought, that name sounds familiar, but where? Who? And it went round and round in my head, and when I came to my beach house, I realised who it was, and I also remembered that we put your spare tyre in the trunk of my car, and that tomorrow you need to, well, find me and I need to drive. Well, do you want to know the real reason I came?
I can't wait.
I thought to myself, this man is doing something really essential for the honour of the nation, to help us close the door on the divisions and hatreds of the past, and, well, here's his last weekend that he's going to be free of troubles for God knows how many
That's
months.
certainly true, but I wouldn't go as far as to say...
And I thought to myself, the least I can do is drive over there and leave him his spare tyre. So we just have to phone for a taxi or a tow truck. I mean, who has a phone out here anyway?
You're making me feel as if I was some sort of special...
No, and I am telling you. And this comes straight from the heart. This commission is going to help us close an exceptionally painful chapter in our country's history. And, well, here I am, alone this weekend. We've all got to help out. It may just be a small gesture, but I just thought tomorrow,
really.
You managed to find your car, no spare. And then you have to set out and find me. No, my friend, I thought that I would at least go over there and fix it with my Jack. Which reminds me, did you ever find out what happened to your Jack?
My wife lent it to her mother.
Her mother?
You know women.
All too well. The last mystery. You know, we're going to explore all the frontiers, my friend, but we will still have that unpredictable female soul. Do you know what Nietzsche once said? At least I think it was him. He said, "We will never truly possess the female soul." At least I think it was him. I don't know, but you can be sure old Nietzsche would have said it if he'd have found himself on a weekend road without a Jack.
And without a spare.
And without a spare, yes. Which clinches it. We'll clean up the whole operation in one morning.
No, really, I feel I'm...
I won't hear another word about it. I happen to like helping people. I'm a doctor, I told you that. But don't you think I only help important people?
If you'd have known what you were getting yourself in for, you'd have stamped your accelerator to the floor, right?
Through the floor. No. Seriously, it's no trouble at all. In fact, it's an honour. Look, the real reason I came here tonight was to congratulate you. To tell you that you are exactly what this country needs to finally get the truth once and for all.
What this country needs is justice.
Well, even if we can't put these people on trial, even if they're protected by this amnesty they've given themselves, if we can just publish the names...
Those names are to be kept secret. It's not the job of the Commission to publish the authors of crime.
In this country, everything finally comes out in the end. Their children, their grandchildren. Is it true what you did? Is it true what they're accusing you of? And they'll have to lie. Say it's slander or some communist conspiracy, some such nonsense, but the truth will be written all over their faces. It's not like putting them in jail, but to start with.
Someday we can.
Maybe if the citizens of this country get angry enough, we can revoke this amnesty they've given themselves.
You know that's not possible.
After killing the whole lot of them, but...
I hate to disagree with you, Roberto, but in my opinion, the death penalty has never solved any...
Then we're going to
society.
have to disagree, Your Honour. There are some people who simply don't deserve to be alive. But you're going to have quite a few problems with it.
More than one, really. For starters, the army is going to fight this commission all the way. They've told the President that the investigation is an insult and dangerous. Yes, dangerous for the new government to be opening up all the old wounds. Luckily, the President went ahead anyway, thank God. I thought for a second he was going to get cold feet, but we know these people are ready to jump on us at the first mistake we make.
Well, this is what I was about to say when you say these names won't be known. And you say they won't be published. Look, maybe you're right. Maybe we'll never know who these people are. They form some sort of...
Mafia.
Mafia, yes. A secret brotherhood. They watch each other's backs. Don't release any names. The armed forces aren't going to let their men testify to your commission. And if you call them in, they'll just ignore your summons. Say, fuck you. Maybe this thing about the children and the grandchildren is just a fantasy, but it's going to be harder than I thought. That's what I was getting at.
Not that difficult either. The President told me, and this stays between us, of course.
Of course.
The President told me that there's people ready to make statements already, so long as their confidentiality is guaranteed. And you know, once people get talking, once the confessions come in, the names will pour out like water. As you said, in this country, we end up knowing everything.
I wish I could share your optimism, Dorota, but I'm afraid there are things we will not know.